Y'all, we got a big one on the hook today, man, and we got Jimmy Kimmel seems to be canceled for his Trump remarks post Charlie Kirk's assassination, and a lot of people wasn't necessarily feeling what he was saying on the political party on the Republican side. He dropped a lot of blunt information that wasn't approved and wasn't necessarily appealing by the dominant society. With the Trump administration, he was basically talking about how they just glimpsed over the death and how they just malprioritized the needs in the U.S., especially directly after the tragedies. Look, before we get into that, man, I'm not even going to spoil it. I'm going to let you guys just watch the video. But it looks like they're canceling them because they suspended this man indefinitely. And we already know, man, Jimmy Kimmel always been a rider. He always spoke truth to power. He always called out exactly what it was. We always loved and supported Jimmy, man. He's always rooted for, what was right and what was righteous, especially in the Black community. So the MAGA gang is, this is in quote, the MAGA gang is desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. So they didn't like this statement. And let's get into the part where he basically radicalized them in a sense where they're deliberately showing a bias to the American demand, basically pointing out their bigotry and prioritizing again other world cultures and world's problems instead of taking us out of this war. Look, before you even get into the rest, man, these people are really salty because this man has a platform, this man has a voice, and people are saying, look, we're still in the same position that we were a couple years ago. Trump hasn't really done anything, man. But Trump and the dominant society don't like people who has big voices. And, Trump's talking about having, domestic orders, enforced by the military. And that's really not a good look. That's really nothing to really, follow and support. So a lot of people was just like, nah, man, Trump, you don't know what you're doing. So let's get into this, man, without no further ado. Jimmy Kimmel, man, has always been a pillar and a beacon. And I don't understand, man, what the problem was, man. But without no further ado, I do not own the rights to this, just informational and educational purposes only. Let's get into the clip, man. Fair use, y'all. Fair use under Section 107.
The second largest city in our bitterly divided nation, where, like the rest of the country, we're still trying to wrap our heads around the senseless murder of the popular podcaster and conservative activist Charlie Kirk yesterday, whose death has amplified our anger, our differences. And I've seen a lot of extraordinarily vile responses to this from both sides of the political spectrum. Some people are cheering this, which is something I won't ever understand. We had another school shooting yesterday in Colorado, the 100th one of the year. And with all these terrible things happening, you would think that our president will at least make an attempt to bring us together. But he didn't. President Obama did. President Biden did. Presidents Bush and Clinton did. President Trump did not. Instead, he blamed Democrats for their rhetoric. The man who told a crowd of supporters that maybe the Second Amendment people should do something about Hillary Clinton. The man who said he wouldn't mind if someone shot through the fake news media. The man who unleashed a mob on the Capitol and said Liz Cheney should face 9-barrel shooting at her for supporting his opponent blames the radical left for their rhetoric. And then the man who on 9/11, 2001, bragged that his building was now the tallest building in New York, which wasn't even true, by the way, visited the Pentagon for a 9/11 memorial, which, believe it or not, he made a bigly improvement over last year when he showed up at a 9/11 remembrance at a fire station in lower Manhattan with a 9/11 conspiracy theorist who claims it was an inside job. This year, he brought his wife, which was better for sure. And I have to say, I don't know what's going on, but those two lovebirds, they seem to be closer than ever. I mean, if you see during the ceremony, in a tender moment, Donald reaches over and gives her a little tap. He taps her like he's hoping ketchup would come out. And she didn't really respond. Maybe that's their signal for my diaper is full. I don't know. And then it was off to New York for a Yankees game. Slow DiMaggio made an appearance at Yankee Stadium after an appearance last week at the U.S. Open. It's all part of his Getting Booed in Public tour. Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani was supposed to go to the Yankee game with him to sit with the president, but he accidentally showed up at a Yankee candle store. So Uncle Scam, though, he's all over the place right now. You know, last month, Trump, he fired the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics because he didn't like the job numbers she released. So he replaced her, and now we have a new round of numbers. And guess what? Those numbers are bad, too. We added 900,000 fewer jobs than projected. I wonder, do you think they fight over who has to give them the news? Like, no, you go. I'm not bringing them these numbers. But say what you like about him. He surrounds himself with the best people. They had hearings this morning to confirm some new Trump nominees, including our next ambassador to the Bahamas, which is former NFL running back and disgraced.
All right. So yeah, man, he was really going in on Trump, man, and really not addressing the core issues at hand and blaming the Democrats instead, and just mainly deflecting, showing a lot of bias. And I really want to go into the major platforms that they're trying to cancel anybody that's talking about Charlie Kirk. They're suspending indefinitely and canceling them. And this cancel culture is almost getting out of hand, all because he was a political figure. And they're trying to actually assign bills to lock people up for slandering his name. Look, man, this ain't got nothing to do with slandering his name. This is about demonstrating white supremacy. Bottom line, hands on. And so Wanda Sykes was going to be one of the guests on the show, man. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make the show because they canceled it. And because what? Because he had, freedom of speech and because he has a big voice, they didn't like the fact that he has such power to control the narrative. So let's get into, man, what Wanda Sykes was talking about, man. This is unfortunate business, man. And, you shouldn't have to deal with, people losing their jobs all because they have opinions and they were saying that Charlie had. So why would you cancel for the same exact man that died for exactly what you claim what America was about? See, that's messed up. Now you got Wanda Sykes losing a potential job over this. And let me get into this, man.
Hey, everybody. So I'm in a full face of makeup because I was supposed to go over and have a chat with my friend Jiimy Kimmel on his show. But as you have heard by now, the Jiimy Kimmel show has been pulled indefinitely, abruptly, because of complaints from the Trump administration. So let's see. He didn't end the Ukraine war or solve Gaza within his first week, but he did end freedom of speech within his first year. Hey, for those of you who pray, now's the time to do it. Love you, Jiimy.
So you got people really out here losing their jobs because you got people speaking on politics and Trump and their true opinions on the Trump administrations and the Democratic and being mentioned by Trump and him deflecting away from all the national crises that we're facing and the prices and deportation of obviously the ICE and the immigrants and obviously deporting the National Guard to Chicago, having domestic issues. So, we're really looking at a lot of the culture now with having, your rights and your Fourth Amendment right. And this has become now where you really don't even get a chance to, speak your mind. You have to really speak with caution, and you really have to be careful with decorum. And it's unfortunate, man. Jiimy, man, was a good dude. I love Jiimy, man. He always spoke truth. I think he always spoke his opinion. People didn't like it, but people was entertained by it. And that's the major part, is that he had the grassroots on his side, because when you have moral, or you come from a moral stance, then people really will gravitate towards you and support you and ride with you. Yeah, so it's unfortunate, man. It's become now getting out of hand, man. You're affecting people's livelihood, and I don't understand, if we can't exercise our First Amendment right, why can't we? What's the point of having a show? What's the point of having dialogue? And it's unfortunate that brothers like this get shunned off and blackballed away from the industry. But it looks like Jiimy is going to now be looked at as, the person that rode with the brothers and the person that had chose an allegiance to the less fortunate, and he pandered to the Black community predominantly, and that's what they don't truly like. And he's never stepped out of bounds. He's never said anything crazy. And when you got a forefront or crash out for Black communities like this, that's a no-no to them. So, for Wanda, man, to be holding him down, support, man, and you affecting everybody around him just because he just ran a skit. And that's comedy too. And that's when it's kind of dangerous, because if you can't speak comedy, what can you do? Comedy was supposed to be a space to use freedom and freestyling and expression and allowing yourself to vocalize and laughter and have an outburst of laughter and in a comedic form by expressing truth. And I don't understand that, man. So let's know. Let me know what y'all think about this, man. This is getting pretty out of hand, man. Shout out to Jiimy Kimmel, man. Keep your head up, brother. We'll keep y'all on to the next video. I'm out of here. Please subscribe to the channel, man. We are on the road. Subscribe to the channel, man. We are on the road to 500 on this new channel. You know, we like to spread the positivity, man, with the news they don't like to choose. I'm out, man. I'll talk to y'all soon. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm out of here. Peace.